Okay, so for questions, what are your positions regarding the California Forever projects?
Great question. So I just need everybody to understand, number one, I'm still bound by the Brown Act, and I've had different legal advice that suggested that. Number two, the to be frank, in Vacaville, there hasn't been a direct issue within our city. So I haven't been, I'm straight up in a straight on listening mode on that particular item, trying to take in all the different information in order to make a informed decision when the time comes, however that might be. I think that big picture, there's a lot of different opinions on it. The program, the different proposals there have changed quite a bit. So for that, I think it's only responsible for myself to continue to listen, to learn, and again to build that trust to make informed decisions when the time comes. I think there's a lot of concern with respect to making sure that when we say that we're going to have a workforce, that the workforce comes here locally. I understand and absolutely respect the fact that there was a pretty robust private PLA that was signed that would help ensure that. In addition to that, and that would be for shipbuilding, the county has supported shipbuilding. It's obvious that there's some more talks going on between Sassoon and LAFCO and whatnot. But again, I really, it's really about me making sure that I take in all the information possible to figure out how we navigate moving forward on this particular very important issue. And just to close it, I just to make sure everybody knows, I'm very aware of different environmental impacts or potential impacts on how we navigate all that. But um, again, as a city council member of Vacaville, we haven't been provided certain key information, certain information that even at one point I was looking, hopefully we would have some more on. Um, but that's where, yeah, I'm still in the listen and learning spot on that one.
Okay. Um, it has been brought up a lot during negotiations that the county does not have the budget for the workers for pay increases, for any sort of things that they are looking at. So how would you reconcile the budget that they have with the needs of the county? Otherwise, like healthcare, food assistance, housing assistance, etc.
Yeah, so I think all right, so number one, I think it sounds like there's a whole nother beast coming up, which is related to HR1 and cuts to our Medi-Cal, cuts to people who need essential, food, mental health, behavioral health services that the county provides. Um, and so if we have more people that's being cut with those different resources and the county needs to pick up the slack, it's gonna be a huge challenge. And the data out there is looks anywhere from going from 30 or so to possibly up to several thousand. So the question is, how do we go about working together as a community to support those essential services? Number one, I think there's different ways to go about that. So I guess so number one, you want to start looking at if you really want me to go through all this, you want to start looking at how we can start not necessarily cut funding, but how we're being most efficient with the funds that we have. Number two, we really got to put pressure on our state and federal our congressmen to make sure that they're advocating for revenue to help support basic needs within not just Solano County, but throughout California, since we're all going to be dealing with these situations. People need to be compensated for the work they do and the services they provide. So looking at different creative ways to generate revenue is going to be really essential towards making sure we help support the staff that are supporting the people that need that support. The general plan is coming up for the county. That's going to be a huge component on how and what things are zoned and allowed to develop and what ideas are around there. I think one area that I would feel that there's unanimous or wide support on is how we promote agritourism. So I've been connecting with different folks in our rural communities on what that looks like for them and what support they would need, as well as the certain zoning and whatnot that would actually hurt their ability to provide maintain their farms and provide. On top of that, again, there's different proposals that I understand, as far as what commercial development goes. But in short, the goal is really to look at creative ways of how we can generate additional revenue, as well as start addressing the concerns that our bargaining units are expressing, our employees are expressing through the county. And again, how we keep their morale up, how we give them support that they need. But if we don't have revenue to do that, it's going to make it really challenging.
Yep. Thank you. How do you think that the county should react to the job losses that we're experiencing currently?
So I was when I heard the layoffs were coming down for Anheuser-Busch, I'm a professor of biotechnology. I worked in biomanufacturing, did stem cell-based research. A lot of the skill sets that they use there are actually applied to biomanufacturing, biotechnology. So when so I just I put a social media post and it carried, and I was out there one evening and one morning at Anheuser-Busch. Some Glenn Laval was in there. A couple other folks from our economic development team were in there. And quite frankly, I wish there were more. I wish there were more. I don't know how many times I've heard from different employers that, hey, we need people that want to work. Hey, we're looking for workers. Well, these folks wanted to work, and they're humble, hardworking, average, everyday folks with families, not knowing where to go. And I'm not gonna lie, at one point it got to me just because here we are at 6 in the morning. These folks are just looking for what's next. So my point to that is, I think number one, it's going to take active leadership to go out there, support staff, connect with different employers to understand what their issues are, what their struggles are, and look at what policies we can do to make sure we stop the loss of employers closing. And on the other hand, I think there's other opportunities for us to rally up as a regional county and be able to figure out, how do we further support our small businesses, our large employers. I think in addition to that, kind of going back to other revenue streams, I know it's going to be a longer term project, but we really need to look at how we become more energy resourceful or independent, frankly. And again, look at different ways of we can generate revenue that works, that is safe for our environment and good for our people. Um, so the as far as and so I think that's really key in getting a robust economic development plan put together, and that's going to absolutely require collaboration between all cities. So I think one of the biggest challenges that we continue to see is that a lot of cities got this old school mindset of where everybody's kind of working in silos, and that needs to go. That's going to need leadership from the top to encourage everybody in their own ways to work together, because to me, whatever benefits Vallejo benefits Vacaville. What benefits Dixon benefits Fairfield. As much as we want to stay working within our own communities, we need to maintain our competitiveness in the world market, because that's what we're really competing against, and let them know that we have one of the most qualified workforces here in Solano County. So it will take a very active approach to get that. One more note on that. As council member, I've been actively engaged in helping recruit more biomanufacturing companies, specifically to our region. Again, that's just been my work as a professor, letting them know that we got a workforce that's ready to go for them. And I think the more we put that picture out, and not just sit back and wait for employers to come to us, and keep employers that are here, but actively be engaged with all hands on deck, the more successful we'll be at that.
Okay, we have one last very quick question. What specific issues do you feel are important for helping our youth?
Great question. Um, it really depends where the youth are at. I gotta be. So I work at community college, so I got a wide variety of folks. I like doing outreach. It's not a lot of people have different perceptions of every generation, two generations that comes before them. But I'll say that by and large, most kids want to make a difference. They want to make a difference with their lives. But the biggest challenge that we're seeing is that they don't want to be exploited, just like their parents, their grandparents, great grandparents were, or the families and structures that they're seeing and understanding in their history books. So, kind of going back to workforce development, like if anybody's going to be promising jobs, I want to make sure that those jobs are here. And there's different mechanisms that we can pursue to ensure that, or encourage that there's local hiring and a pipeline to be able to earn a good living. So that's we're here. So right there, I'm talking about more centered on workforce development. I think the other approach to that is going to be providing, so overall, just opportunities on a small scale to make a difference. So I love working with the scouts. I'm a scout leader. Tonight was a scout meeting. But we have to find different ways to allow our youth to actually improve their neighborhoods. I don't know why we put up so many dang blocks.